All right. Hi, everybody. Okay, so Brittany and I are super excited about this call for a lot of reasons. One, because we really like each other. We like to chat and hang out and brainstorm
We
and goals.
do.
And so we were so excited to put this call together for you guys because we love Beachbody and we love what we do and we love our teams. We always talk about how much we love our teams when we chat. And so I'm so excited because I really think Brittany's a rock star. And she is just such an encouragement to me as a person, but most of all, I love watching her post. And so when we were brainstorming about this call, we were talking about how we could help you guys find your voice and how to invite. And I was like, this is a perfect topic because Brittany is someone that I look to set a great example for that. So I'm so excited about that. I don't know if you have anything you want to say before we jump into, but.
No. I think that was great. A lead into like what our heart is and just us. And what's really cool too is Margo and I, our teams are completely separate. But what we found out recently was that we like lived in the same city for a long time and we have a lot of overlap in our community. So we have a lot of Facebook friends in common. So it would be really easy for us to like not want to be friends and to be in competition with each other. And so I think it's really special that like we're part of this job and this community where instead of backstabbing one another or instead of being really competitive with one another, we build each other up. You know, we have phone calls where we trade ideas. We pray with one another and pray for the success in each other's businesses. And so it was really fun for us to come together and do this call because she is also someone who I look to as an example of how I also want to run my business with integrity, with confidence, with authenticity. And so the fact that we can kind of come together and hopefully one of our goals is that by the end of this call, that all of you guys would feel a little more confident in your own voice and your own journey. And so we love this topic. So I'm excited for us to get to lead together on this topic.
Yay. And Brittany, I'm going to tell this until like the day I die, because I think it's so funny, but I was like, you guys have to know the story between Brittany and I when I was like, I know this girl. I was like, was she in my choir in Burbank? I'm like, no, she's old to be in my choir. Realized her brother was in my show choir. I taught her brother who is much younger than her. So, which is somebody was like, wait, so I did some serious stalking on her page. I had to dig and I was like, wait a second, that is Zach. I know that kid.
Which is how funny. I mean, I just feel like Beachbody, it just makes the world so small sometimes. You know, it's like really that we never met in person, but now it's like we have this connection through my younger brother. And so it's just really funny to, you know, catch up on him. And I can't imagine, Margo, it's crazy that you were old enough to teach him, but that's another topic for another time.
I know. I started teaching when I was 22. So I was like the youngest you could be when you started teaching.
Oh, okay.
Like, how do a 22-year-old start teaching? But anyway. So awesome. Well, Brittany and I really think it's so important in this business to find your own voice in the business. And so I think Brittany's going to kind of start us out a little bit and share a little bit about kind of her top tips and tricks and how she has found her voice in the business and how, you know, her ideas for helping us find our voice. And then I'll follow up with that too.
Yeah, and so one of the things that when Margo and I were kind of brainstorming of what were we each going to say, what could we bring to the table, one of the things that I'm really excited about is that I really wanted to talk about our mindset. And then Margo was already planning on talking more about practical implications for the mindset piece. And I feel like both are really important. You know, you need to have your mind right, and then you need to actually do some work. But if you're doing the work without your mind being right, your work is going to be fruitless a lot of times, or at least in the long run. And the same is true vice versa. If you have a great mindset, but you're not doing anything, your business isn't going to grow. And I thought for a second that it might be helpful if I explain a little bit more of who I am, just because you might have never heard of me before. And so you're feeling like, why would I even listen to this person? And so like Margo said, my name's Brittany. I've been a coach for 2 years, but it wasn't until a year ago that I decided to really dive into the business. I work full-time as a senior product marketing manager for a financial company, and this started out as something I just did for the discount. But over the course of time, my goals have changed with this business, and I think that's important for you to recognize that your goals may have changed with this business as well since you've started. And so when I'm talking to you about your mindset, I'm coming to you as someone whose goals have changed over time, so my actions have changed over time. You know, I'm someone who to, I haven't always been into fitness. I struggled with eating disorders for years before I found this solution. And so for me, when I'm talking about my Beachbody journey, I'm talking about something that literally feels like it saved my life. And I want you guys to have that same kind of emotional connection to your why. And so when we're talking about this idea of what's my voice and I have nothing to say, I think sometimes we forget to go back to the basics of why we even started this in the first place. You know, because becoming a coach is out of all of our comfort zones, or at least for the majority of us, but there was a reason why we believed in it so much that we decided to become a coach. And so if you go back to that, if you go back to what it was about this opportunity, what it was about the programs and the community that made you excited enough to jump into the coach opportunity, I think you need to go back to that and remember what that is, because that's really where you need to speak from when you're talking to when you're creating your posts and when you're talking to people about this business opportunity and about just even joining your challenge groups. And when you go back to that, I think a lot of what's important to remember is that part of why we all became coaches was because we got results from these programs. We believed in these programs because we dedicated ourselves, we committed ourselves, and we started getting results. And I think sometimes we start losing that. I know if you guys follow me at all on social media, I injured my shoulder a couple months ago. So after 2 years of being on track and feeling so free in this journey, I gained so much weight because I gained weight really quickly. And I had to kind of start over in my health and fitness journey. But as soon as I recommitted to the programs, as soon as I recommitted to my Shakeology and to checking into my groups, I got results again. And that's really what I think we need to go back to is when's the last time, if you feel like you have nothing to post, if you feel like people aren't coming to you, if you feel like people aren't joining your team, when's the last time you started a program, you completed it to the finish, you shared your journey along the way, and you got some serious results? Because the reality is these programs are scientifically proven to be effective. So the reality is if you're actually committing to it, you're going to get results. And our results pictures matter so much because they give credibility to every other thing that you're posting about. Every other post that you're sharing about what you're eating, why Shakeology is important, how you're fitting in your workouts, all of this stuff, it doesn't matter if you're not actually getting results. People aren't going to jump in and join you if you're sharing your journey, but it doesn't lead them anywhere they want to go. And so for me, when I started feeling like, man, what am I going to say in my posts today? Man, I don't really feel like I have a lot to give. I had to go back and really start getting results again, because when you do that, everything else starts to change. Because remember that feeling of like when you crushed a workout or when you finished your first program, you looked at your first results pictures, the feeling of excitement, of adrenaline, feeling proud of yourself, really believing in what you have to offer. That's really where you need to get back to really post from. That's where your energy should come from. That's where your passion should come from. It shouldn't come from looking at other people's posts. It shouldn't come from comparing yourself to other people. Your passion and what you're writing about should really come from your own journey. Remember why you started. And for me, when I'm thinking about that, I really try to write to like before Beachbody Brittany, because that's who I'm best suited to help. And so we all have different audiences. We all have different people who are best suited to help. And I know that our heart is to help everyone. And I love that about our team, but the reality is we are better suited to help specific people. So write your post to that specific person. Because the reality also is that we aren't the only Beachbody coach in our friends' newsfeeds anymore. We aren't the only online job opportunity in our friends' newsfeeds anymore. So if you sound like everyone else, if you're trying to be too general, you're not going to catch anyone because you're going to be white noise. But if you remember why you started in the first place, if you make a list of what were your biggest concerns about coaching and how did you overcome them, like how did you walk yourself through them so that you actually signed up? If you were worried about being a salesperson, why did you end up signing up? What talked you through that? If you were worried about sharing your journey, if you were worried about whatever you were worried, the time, how do you make it work? Start posting from there. And it really comes back to the 4 vital behaviors, you guys, because it starts for me with the transformation story. You have to be proof that it works. That's your credibility. But then as you go through that and you start gaining confidence through your transformation story, it's really important that you're also doing personal development, because this job is all about pouring into other people. And personal development is something that we do that pours back into us. So we can't overlook this, even though I feel like it's one of the things that's easiest to do, because I used to do that all the time. So like, I'm like a really happy person, you guys. Like, I pray, like, you know, I wake up early, like, I love the morning. I'm not really someone who needs to, but no, as soon as I started doing personal development, I started feeling like my posts became a lot easier to write, because I started, the more that you're growing, the more that you're learning, the more that you are getting different perspectives from different people, the more information you're going to have to share with others. And so it's really important to have those two aspects, your fitness and your personal development, in check. And then the inviting process becomes so much easier because you have so much confidence in what you have to offer. You want to invite people on this journey because you're excited about it again. You're getting results. You have proof. So when people are talking to you about their objections, you can answer them back because you're so confident in what you have to offer that you're not worried about the objections anymore. It's not scary when people say no anymore, because that's okay. You are so confident in what you have to offer that you understand it's not personal. You know? But think about it. Think if you weren't invited into this journey. Think if Margo didn't talk to you. Think if your coach didn't talk to you. Where would you be now? You know, and so don't be afraid to start inviting people into this opportunity. Don't be afraid to invite people into your challenge groups. It all stems from this confidence that goes back to the basics. And so we start worrying about, what am I going to post about today? And if we were actually just focused on our journey, the post content is so much easier. And then I'll share one more thing before I'm going to pass it off to Margo because I think you're going to talk about some practical stuff before we talk about recruiting. Is that right? That's one good? Okay, so is this idea, you guys, I just totally lost my train of thought. No, nothing's coming back. So why?
It'll come back to you.
It really will. And then when we go, what was I even going to say to you guys? I don't know. I'll share when it comes back to me, but you guys just marinate on that.
You just said so much good stuff. Like, I had so many good nuggets.
Oh, that's weird. I'm like sweating. I'm like all excited about, like, we need to go recruit people right now.
I love it. I love what you said, because I think it's so true. It starts with the vital behaviors. And I think we all kind of go, it's easy to, after a while, be like, oh, the vital behaviors. But no, I mean, like, they work, you know. And if you're like, I think we talked about this the other day, Brittany, but like, we're not selling a product to people. We're selling our passion for the product, right? We're selling our passion and our confidence in what we become through doing the product. So if you're worried about being a salesperson, I want to encourage you, like Brittany said, to dig deeper into personal development, deeper into the products in your own journey, and you're going to find that there's something that hook deep into, you know, which is so awesome. So I wanted to kind of piggyback off of all that great stuff that she said and kind of give us all some practical tools for finding our voice. Like, how do we find our voice? And I'm going to use the word acknowledge about 3 or 4 times here. So if you're taking notes, this might be a good word for you to write down, acknowledge, okay? The first thing that I want to encourage you to do in finding your voice is you have to acknowledge what defines you. Okay, so I want everybody right here, we're going to take 1 minute of awkward silence to write down. I want you to write down 5 to 10 things that you would say define you. Okay, things that you like, things that you love. For example, I'm going to give you my list, and then you can come up with your own. And it's okay if some of yours are the same as mine, but there's going to be some things that are unique to you, right? So, like I said, 5 to 10 things. So mine are Jesus. I love Jesus. I love coffee is a big deal to me. I love my coffee, not for the taste, but because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I love peanut butter. I am a girl mom. I am a former music teacher, so I love music. I love teaching. I love encouraging. That's just so much of who I am. I'm a depression overcomer. I'm a former recovering perfectionist. And I also, one of my things that I think defines who I am is that my body is very imperfect after babies, even after losing weight, and that's okay with me. So I write down stretch marks or something that define me, and in a good way. Well, that's okay, Kimberly, don't worry about it. So those are some, I mean, I have more and they change over time, but I want you to take 1 minute. I want you to acknowledge and write down 5 to 10 things that define you. and then we'll come back together in just about 1 minute. Just about 15 more seconds. Okay, so if you haven't finished, that's totally okay. I want to encourage you to go back and, sometimes I know some people, it takes you a while to kind of think through what those things might be. So that's totally okay. So just make sure that after, this call's over, or even, as you're sitting here thinking about it, you can keep writing them down. But when you are trying to find your voice, you have to acknowledge those things that define you. And like Brittany was talking about, you create your posts around those things. So for example, and I'll talk about this more later, but that's kind of the first thing in finding your voice is you have to acknowledge what defines you. And the second thing is that you need to acknowledge your struggles and offer a solution to people, okay? So in finding your voice, part of the way that we make ourselves heard and make ourselves different than the world is that we are vocal about our struggles, obviously not at any level of vulnerability that you're uncomfortable with. You have to pick your level of vulnerability. But the difference between us and some other people is that we're offering a very specific solution to a problem, right? So for example, I struggle with emotional eating. Okay, that's a big thing of mine. So, and that leads to one of my things that defines me is my depression, right? So I know that for me, what I have found is that I struggle with depression and emotional eating. And so a lot of times I will create a post that offers a solution to people based off of what I have found and what defines me. So when Brittany was talking about reaching specific people, talking to a specific person, she is so spot on. It's not even funny because that is how you do it. You basically take a part of yourself and you speak to people about it as if you're talking to someone else while you're talking to yourself too. So I want to encourage you to, when finding your voice, you have to acknowledge your struggles, okay? And it might be worth it to you to write those down after this call. What are your struggles? And then over the next few days, write down some solutions that you found through Beachbody. Or it doesn't even have to be the product necessarily, but maybe it's the way that you felt after a workout, right? So the emotions that come with it too that are tied to Beachbody, but not necessarily Beachbody, right? So that's number 2. And the third thing I want you to acknowledge is it's kind of similar. Acknowledge your fears and commit to tackling them head on. I talked on a call the other night about this. Make fun of me all you want. For the last 10 years, the one show that I've always come back to, I don't know why, I haven't watched it as much this year, but it's like my mindless thing. I've recorded Dr. Phil for like the last 10 years. I don't know why, I don't know. Anyways, it's like this thing that I love talk shows. And so for some reason I've hooked into Dr. Phil, and I don't ever since I started working the business, I don't really watch it as much, but sometimes I'll turn on the background while I'm working still. But anyways, all that to say, one of the things that he says, yes, I'm quoting Dr. Phil on our call. So he says that you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So with your fears, okay, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So if you acknowledge those fears and you commit to tackling them head on, I bet you anything that you're going to find your voice in the midst of that. And the third thing, the fourth thing to acknowledge in finding your voice before we move on to inviting is that you have to acknowledge who and what you represent. Okay. In our case, there might be a bigger picture that you represent. But we represent Beachbody, and we represent a really great company. We represent a solid company. Are they the only company out there that gets results? No. But I think it's some of the best that I've ever found. And I think that I could find right now because it's healthy and it's balanced. So I will speak off of those things, and I am going to acknowledge that I represent them, and I'm going to commit to the product, myself, and that's coming back to the vital behaviors, plugging into the product, doing a program from start to finish every single time, committing to the eating program. When you fall down, acknowledge your struggles and your fears. When you struggle with those things, and offer a solution to people, which you have, because you have portion control containers, you have everything. We have all the solutions. So we have to acknowledge who and what we represent and really plug into that. And that's going to help us find our voice if we can really acknowledge all those things and pull them together. So, yeah. So now I think we're going to talk a little bit about inviting. Yeah, Brittany?
Yeah. And I did remember what I was going to say before. Is this idea that, well, two things. One, I think sometimes when we're worried about what we're going to say, that we start looking at other coaches and we start comparing ourselves too much to them. And I know for me personally, I had to start unfollowing other coaches so that I didn't see their posts. Because realizing that, one, I started comparing my posts to theirs, like, oh, they worded it way better. Oh, they were so much better. And in reality, it doesn't matter, because the majority of the time, I don't really have a lot of mutual friends in common with that coach unless they're on my team. So that's not even an issue. So why am I stressed about if they worded something better? But then two, there's too much distraction, you know. And another thing that I do that really helps, and I know Margo does this too, that really helps me create posts, is I take time to think about what I'm going to write. You know, both of us hear all the time that people just feel like they might not be creative enough. And in reality, creativity is work, and it takes time. I sit down and I think ahead. I think of the week ahead, and I know what topic I'm going to post about for my Beachbody post every day for the next 4 or 5 days. And so it's strategic. I know when I have a challenge group coming up, I've already started posting about that. If I have a coach sneak peek, I know a week and a half in advance when I'm going to be posting about each day leading up to it. And it really helps. So even though I don't have all of those posts written out in a week in advance, I've already started thinking about it. So then I already know what that post is going to be about. So either the night before when I go to bed, if I plan on posting first thing in the morning, I normally write up the post before I even go to bed. Or if I already have the topic in mind, while I'm working out, I just started thinking more about it. And the posts start to come, and it starts to become more natural, and you start to write them easier, and you start to become more confident. And don't judge your post based on how many people have liked it. We know that people are going to like our Beachbody posts less than they like our other posts. Don't take it personally, just keep posting. But do take notice if people seem to like certain Beachbody posts more. Start to pay attention of when you post it. Start to pay attention if they loved that you're wearing a cute workout outfit, if you got more likes on it because people liked what you were wearing. Pay attention if they like it. I think a lot of times if you have kids, moms love to see that your kids are in the workout pictures with you. So take a picture, like make sure, you know, let your kids be in the picture. Or it's okay if your house is a little messy because it looks like you lived in it. Just be relatable. And so people are going to start to feel like they have this connection with you and feel like you're more relatable if you just really start sharing who you are. And that's going to come out in your posts. That's going to come out in your conversations with people when you start to become more confident about your journey, which you can be if you just decide. Part of it's a mindset thing, and then part of it, again, is just going back to the basics and making sure that you're doing what you need to do to get results and to get your mind right, so that when you're having these conversations, you do have the confidence. And so once for me, when we're talking about how I ask people about coaching, it's pretty simple. You know, it's not, I don't overthink it. I used to just feel like really nervous, and I didn't want people to feel like I was recruiting them, and all of a sudden I realized that this opportunity is changing my life. And I don't believe in like cold messaging people, like where you just randomly start reaching out to people and asking if they want to be a coach, because a lot of times people are going to be really turned off by that. Someone just randomly reached out to me and I didn't know them. I wasn't on this journey with them. They didn't even really know me. I would just feel like they were just a salesperson if they tried to get me to sign up on their team. However, if someone's already joined you on your journey, if they're in your challenge group, which is another reason why your challenge groups just need to be amazing, in addition to following through on your promise to provide a accountability group for people. I think this is a little side note, but I think sometimes we get caught up that we're so focused on points that we forget the importance of following through on our promise to be coaches to people. How important it is to celebrate when you have repeat customers, because that means you're providing value into their lives. That means that you are helping them on their journey. It's really exciting to continue having repeat customers, and it's really important to pour into them so that you do have repeat customers. So don't get so focused on the new ones because we get recognition points through Success Club that you forget about the promise you made to show up for people. You have the opportunity and the responsibility to not give up when people join your team as a challenger or as a coach. So as people are in my challenge group, I wait about a week and a half. I encourage them. I am really passionate about my challenge group, so I feel very confident inviting people into it. My goal is to really provide more value to people than they pay to get into the group. So I feel very confident about my groups. And then so a week and a half in, I just send messages to people, and they aren't fancy and they aren't long. It's just like, hey, Anna, I just love having you in this group. I love seeing you show up every day. I love the way that you encourage people. I just wanted to know if you ever considered being a coach. That's it. It's not, like overthought. It's not, it doesn't need to be long. I don't have to explain more than that. And these people who are in your group have now seen you perform. They've seen how passionate you are about what you do. They've seen how amazing the community is in your group. So then you reaching out is not a recruitment strategy in terms of they aren't going to feel repelled by that. They're not going to feel like you're trying to sell them on something. They're going to feel honored that you are inviting them to do something and that you think that they will be good at something that you are so passionate about. That's an amazing thing. We all love to be recognized for things. We all love to be told that we're going to be good at something. And now here you are, you have someone who you look up to, that you trust, who you connect with, who's been cheering you on, who thinks you're amazing, who is reaching out to you to feel like you could do what they do, and that you can make other people feel the way that they feel, that you're going to be someone who's going to be consistent, and that you are on this journey for the long run. That's a compliment, you guys. So when you reach out to people, it should be with that tone. It should be with that confidence. And then just let the conversation unfold from there. I said no to coaching probably 3 times before I jumped in. So don't be afraid to follow up. Don't be afraid or feel like you regret that you ever brought it up if someone says no. Sometimes it just takes time for the seed to be planted and to grow, because this was an opportunity that I never foresaw. I have a great job. I wasn't looking for another one. I was really busy. I didn't understand really the job structure. I never thought that I would do something like this. So when my coach approached me with it, my first reaction was no. I just had all of these walls up, and it took time to start understanding that this was something I could do, that this is something I wanted to do, this was something I was already doing, I just wasn't getting paid for it. And so just allow people to be on their journey, whatever their timeline is. Be confident, be supportive, be loving, so that people understand even if they say no, that you still show up in the same way every day. That's going to change their perspective and their perception of what you're inviting them into. And then something that I got from the Josh Coates Art of Recruiting is if you're posting your transformation photos, when you're posting anything about your fitness journey, when people like or comment on it, send them a message. And it doesn't have to be, again, really long or verbose. Just say, hey, thank you so much for liking my transformation photos on Tuesday. I know it just took a second out of your day, but I really appreciate, or something like, I just really appreciate when other people like that your support on my health and fitness journey. Are you on your own journey? So you're just saying like, thank you so much for your support on my journey. Are you on your own journey? And it just opens up the conversation. People are either going to say yes, they are on their own journey, and that conversation could lead towards coaching. Have you ever thought about paying it forward and helping other people on their journey? If they say no, they're not on their journey, that's a conversation that leads towards your challenge group. So again, these aren't ideas that have to be super scary. These aren't things that have to be super crazy. But what they do need and they do require is going back to the basics. You do have to be on your own journey. People need to know that you're on your own journey. People need to know that they can join your journey. People need to know that you can teach them to do what you're doing, because people, in the same way that if you were if you're taking your favorite class, your favorite soul cycle class, or your favorite boot camp, and you just love the instructor and she loves what she does and you look forward to being around her and you just like wish that you have that passion. If she never said that she could teach you to do what she does, you would never assume that she would teach you. Right? Like I would never assume that the bootcamp instructor is looking for more people to add to her team. Right? And so people need to know, people are already like, I get sponsored ads all the time from the top coaches in Beachbody about trying to add people to their team. I can only assume that our friends are seeing those posts too. So make sure that people know that they can join your team, because it's way more fun to join your friend anyway. Someone who you feel like you're actually going to be able to talk to, who's actually going to respond to your questions, who you're watching their journey. They're successful in their journey. So don't be afraid of competing with those ads. But people need to know that they can join your journey. So make sure you're consistent with your posting. Make sure you're getting great results, and make sure people know that they can join you. So those were just a couple of things I wanted to share. I'm going to pass it back over to Margo.
unmute myself. Oh, so good. I was thinking when you were talking about the repeat customer thing, that I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and repeat customers may not get you any more points, but they sure can get you coaches because they're creating an experience for people of passion, like finding a passion and something that they love. So I'm with Brittany. Like, I love challenge groups. I love running them. It's like the bread and butter of my business. I love them so much. And so I think Brittany actually used this terminology like the other day when we were talking of like, those are like the repeat customers. They should be like your VIPs because they, even people who aren't buying Shakeology from you every single month, they know what works. And so treating them in a way that shows them continues to show them the value of who they are and not necessarily what they do or what they buy from you, that's going to make them fall in love with the product even more because it's creating life change for them, right? Daily life change, which is really, really cool. I was thinking about how the first time I made an invite to coaching post, it was so scary. I was like, what do I do? How do I do this? And I was panicking. And then I had this thought of like, wait a second. It's like what I do every single day. I work new muscles all the time in new programs, right? And that's what it is with inviting. It's you're working your muscles, you're building your muscles. And I promise you, the more that you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get with it. Then you're going to have to add some heavier weights and you'll get a little bit bolder in the way that you ask people to join you, but if you really keep your passion behind it, and not thinking about how many people am I going to sign up, but if you speak through your passion, people are going to really show up. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the practicality of how you do an invitation post. Okay. Now you could also translate this into the coaching opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and kind of take it for just like how I think Brittany probably does a very similar thing about how I create my posts daily and how I do my call to action posts. Okay. So I'm going to give you about 5 steps of how to create a post. Okay. But before you even think about creating these posts, you got to make sure that you really have what we talked about before, those 5 to 10 things that are going to define you and acknowledge who you are, because that's going to really flow through into your inviting and make it smooth for you, because it's going to be natural because you're talking about yourself, right? Because most of us know ourselves pretty well. Well, most of ourselves pretty well, right? So how do you create a post? I love what Brittany said about how, first of all, you have to plan, right? You plan it out. I plan my posts out too. So the number 1, how to create a post. Choose one of the things that defines you or a struggle you've had. I kind of talked about that earlier. So when you're creating a post, think about one of the things that defines you or a struggle you've had, probably something that you've encountered recently, right? That you're going to talk about. Or what about an objection that you're facing, right? For example, Kimberly, I'm going to use you. She posted earlier today about the at-home, like people don't want to do an at-home workout, right? So that's an objection. So that could be something that you could create a post about, not necessarily talking about, well, let me ask you, Kimberly, if you don't mind. Did you used to go to the gym at all?
Yeah, I used to go to the gym all the time, but now the gym where we live, like my gym is like 20 minutes away, so I never go.
Right. So this is perfect because you could take that and create a post about it and talk to that person, but not talk at that person, but just say, I hear all the time from people. So you're not saying this, someone contacted me and said this. You can say, I hear all the time from people about how at-home workouts don't work, because of the gym. And I used to feel that way too. Okay. So that's number 2. Okay. Number 2 is to write a post based on the feel, felt, and found method. This is how I create my posts. So in that case, you would say, I used to feel like I couldn't work out at home because I had this, and this, or it was hard for me to get out of bed in the morning, or blah, 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 whatever it may be. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to move on to, how you, you can start out with, you can kind of switch the feel and the felt, like how I felt before, and then go into how you feel now, or you can start with how you feel now and go into how you felt. It depends on how you want to write your story. Okay. So it doesn't have to necessarily be in that order for the feel and the felt. It could be felt first and then feel. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a narrative, something that someone can attach themselves to and be like, that sounds a whole lot like me. Right? And so then what you do is at the end of that post, you talk about what you have found in Beachbody. You don't necessarily have to say the words Beachbody. You can say, what I found is that I can work out in my own living room for 30 minutes a day. I don't have to worry about the 20-minute commute there, 20-minute commute back. I can be done and showered and ready in the time I was commuting before and out the door. So I'm saving time, whatever it may be, what you found, and talk about, how you feel now. Talk about those things. So that's how I really create my posts is number one, I choose something that defines me or a struggle I've had or a struggle or objection that I've encountered with someone else that I've been talking to. Then number two, I write a post based on feel, felt, found. Okay. And sometimes I don't even necessarily say the words feel or felt in it. Sometimes I'm talking about, let's see, I'm trying to think. I can't think what I would say right now, but maybe it's talking about caffeine, about how I used to be so hooked on or sweet cravings, talking about how I love my sweets and talk about that and then lead into what I found with Shakeology, right? And talk about it with a post, but I don't necessarily have to like blatantly talk about the product. I can put a picture of it and just say, I love this because it keeps my sweet cravings away. You know what I mean? Kind of breadcrumbing the feel, felt, found method into all my posts. And then number three, for how to create a post is I always end with a call to action. And I get this question all the time. What does it mean? What do those words mean? Call to action. Well, call to action means that you're calling people to act. It means that you are inviting people to join you. You're letting them know, like Brittany was saying, you're letting them know that it's a possibility to join you. Because some people are like, oh, that's really cool. She likes to work out. She drinks Shakeology. Oh, she got great results. That's a great transformation. Cool. Scroll on to the next person. No, you want them to stop and be like, wait a second. Like at the end of your post, you say something like, does this post resonate with you? Or did you know you can join me? Or my group is starting. I have 10 people already committed to my group. I have 2 spots left. I would love for you to join us because this can be a reality in your life too. Whatever it may be, you end with a call to action, okay? And it doesn't have to be blatant, and it doesn't have to be in all your posts, but I would suggest that you do specific call to action posts at least 3 to 4 times a week. I do. And I don't necessarily always say, message me if you want to join me. That's not always my call to action, but it's breadcrumbing in there that there is a possibility that they can join me, that they know that if they read my post, that I'm constantly inviting people to join me because that's a part of who I am, right? So, and then number 4, this one really, this is kind of a personal pet peeve of mine. So I've been really working on kind of being in some interest groups on Facebook, which to be honest with you, it's hard for me because I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels like such a time waster, but it's not. But because I'm like scrolling through all these things. And there's some people that they drive me crazy with this part. Okay. Number 4, make a good graphic. Please make a good graphic. Take a second and put a filter on it. It's like, if you like it, then you should have put a filter on it. Is that how it goes or something like that? No. I want to encourage you to really think about your posts that you want to stand out to people, especially. You want to be known for having something that looks excellent, right? So invest in a good graphic program, okay? It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be crazy. For example, one of the ones I love is Word Swag. I think it makes things look really great, really quickly. I love it, love it, love it. And I told a couple people about that recently, and they're like, well, how much is it? And I was like, $5. And they're like, oh, that costs a lot of money. $5 for good pictures that are going to bring people in and possibly bring in a $70 commission for you. $5 is nothing, okay? In the sense of that it's going to draw people in and it's going to create your brand that looks attractive to people, right? Okay. So don't mistake what I said, that it's about money. I'm just saying, like, think about it. It's a business. You would invest in your business, right? So invest in a couple of good graphic programs that you can use. So, some of them don't even cost money. Like Rana Designs is another one. Over is another great one that I love too, that I use a lot. Someone just told me about one today. I saw, Pick Tap Post, or what is it? It's like a
Play Post?
Huh?
Play Post?
No, they posted about a new one today, and I just downloaded it. And it's got a ton of filters on it, and I think it was $1.99. Did you know all this stuff that you use for your business, you guys, you can write off for your taxes at the end of the year? So keep your receipts, okay? Because you can write off this stuff. Oh, Pick Tap Go. And I've just kind of started playing around with that one today. It's great. It looks, I don't know if you can no, you can't see it. Anyways, it's like a little yellow guy. That's another great one. You know, find a couple that work for you and stick with them, because what you're going to find is if you can make a good graphic, something that catches the eye, and you treat this like a business, something that you want people to be attracted to, your brand, what you're going to find is that your inviting process is going to become smoother. You're going to get more reactions to it, and people are going to, it's going to be something that you want people to stop when they're scrolling. You want them to stop and look at it, right? So, and also, I love what Brittany said. I'm almost done, I promise. I love what Brittany said about how, you know, people may not like your Beachbody posts. I hear that all the time from people too. And I got suckered into this trap at the beginning too. I didn't get very many likes on my posts. Well, on my very first transformation post, I think I got like 100 and something, like maybe 200 likes on my very first transformation post. And I was like, this is awesome. And then now I get maybe 10. Maybe 10, maybe 2 sometimes. But what I can tell you is that they might not like it. They might not love it. They may not press the button, but they're looking at it. Okay. They're looking at it and they're watching you to see if you're going to be consistent. So just keep going with that. That's why good graphics are important, because people are going to stop and look at your stuff. And then number 5, after you've created this post, make sure, this kind of taps onto what Brittany was talking about, but make sure you follow up. Thank them for liking your posts. Be engaged with people on your posts. And I think that's super, super important. So kind of wrap this all up. I know Brittany and I both get a lot of individual messages, a lot, from people asking, how do you guys get so many Success Club points? How do you do this? How do you do that? And sometimes I think that that's a hard question for me to answer in some ways, because there isn't really a secret sauce besides the vital behaviors for me. I show up every day and I do it, and it takes time. It takes time to build it. And sometimes I think what we forget is sometimes it's easy for us as coaches to get off track, right? Where maybe we haven't been as consistent with our workouts, or maybe we fell off with our eating, or maybe we haven't been posting. Okay. And that's okay. That's okay. But what you have to understand is when you come back, it's going to take time to build up that trust. And so as you put these things into your inviting process, people are going to really start to believe in you and trust in you and cheer you on in your journey. So no matter where you've been or where you've fallen off or where you are now, it's not too late to really start to plug into this and really start creating those posts that can be inviting and encourage people to join you in your journey. So I want to encourage you guys to get off of this call. I'm giving you a challenge, and sometime either tonight or tomorrow, create a post that is based off of this feel, felt, found method, and based off of one of the things that defines you. Something, practice. Practice makes perfect. Well, I don't know that we'll ever be perfect, but practice will help you get better at what you do. It's like working that muscle, like we talked about before. So it may not be your best post that you put up, but it's going to get better. And it's going to get better every single time that you do it. And you're going to get more confident every single time that you do it. So I want to encourage all of you to do that today or tomorrow, and maybe post it in your individual team page. And if you're one of Brittany's coaches watching, post it in her page. And then if you're one of my coaches, post it in our page, so we can cheer you on and encourage you to see this new amazing journey of inviting that you're going on. So, does anybody have any questions for Brittany or I? Brittany or I, because I know that we would love to answer any questions or anything that comes to mind. Is everybody muted?
Well, while you guys are thinking about your questions, if you have any, one more thing that I'd like to share with you is that when I was a new coach, part of why I didn't really I was so nervous about posting about it is because I felt like I was so new that I didn't know anything, right? What if people ask me questions? I didn't really know how the team cycle bonus worked. I was like super stressed out about how we have 2 legs. I was like, there are all of these things, right, that start to build up, and where do you place people? And I don't have any credibility because I'm not diamond, or I'm not an emerald, or no one's joined me yet. And what I want to encourage you guys is that, number one, no one else who is reading your post knows that you literally have no one else on your team, right? No one knows that your challenge group is empty. No one knows any of that. So start speaking it into being, right? And like Margo said earlier, people are really attracted to your passion, right? Because they have other opportunities. Like other people are posting about group stuff. They probably already have a gym membership. So what's going to get them to join you? It's going to be your passion. It's going to be how excited you are about the group. It's going to be how excited you are about your workout. It's going to be how excited you are about your accountability, about how great Shakeology tastes. So every one of your posts should be infused with excitement. And then also, you're going to keep learning over time. But even if you just signed up 2 days ago or a week ago or today, you know what a success club point is, very likely. So you're already a step ahead of someone who you're inviting onto your team. You know what I mean? So already know, you might already know if you know how to enroll a new customer, you know about your website, you know about how to log in and where to find your success club points. Those are things that you didn't know before you became a coach. So don't sell yourself short. You already know more than you think you do, and you're going to continue growing, which is part of why that personal development is so important, because you can be watching YouTube videos on how to go through your coach online office. You can be going through those push to diamond groups. You can continue learning more. And that's part of why that's so important, is so that you're always ahead of your coaches. But know that you've already started this journey, and so inviting people to join you, don't feel like you don't know anything. It's okay to say you don't know, but that you can have someone come, like you're going to come back and give them the answer. In the same way that if you were talking to someone about something and they didn't know the answer, but then they got back to you, you wouldn't think any less of them, right? Like you would appreciate that they were honest, that they weren't just going to make something up, and that they got back to you and followed through on their word. If you want, something I do with my coaches is, if they're pretty new and they're really nervous, we do 3-way calls with our potential coaches. And so I can answer any question that they can't, but I let them lead. But it's like the safety net of, like, you know, maybe something will come up and like they're really nervous about it, and then I can help answer. And so just know that, like, you guys have so many resources. Don't feel like you're out there on your own, but also believe in yourself, because you already know so much more than you might give yourself credit for.
So true. There's some stuff on the chat too. I'll have to catch us. I have someone coming over to help signing up as a coach. Oh, yay, Jessica. Kimberly, I got a new phone for that reason. No more. Oh, fun. Awesome. And Beta, that's so good to hear about the likes or lack thereof on posts. Yeah, yay. Oh, yes. Trust me. Yeah, it's good to know we're not alone in that, right? Yeah, it's true. And people are watching. So remember, like I said, you may not be getting the likes or the loves, but you are building trust with people, and they're definitely watching. So does anybody else have any questions that came to mind while we were talking together?
So recently, I can't remember which call I was listening to. Oh, I think it was on Team Hard Hitters. Like, they were the gal that was speaking the other night. She was really encouraging, like, Facebook with the live, like that Facebook is really encouraging people to go live. And I don't know if either of you could speak about, like, how you have, I mean, that feels like kind of like, whoa, scary beast. But it's like, I know it's probably the same thought, like what you guys are talking about with posts, like your thought that goes into it. Like, but I mean, they were just saying, inviting people into those struggles, inviting people into all the things that you had already talked about. But I guess when I think about going live, I'm like, I don't have anything to go live about. Like, my life is not that fun. Like, or like tips, or I don't know. It's just, I don't know. So if you could speak about the whole live thing, I think that's kind of something that's starting to get more and more. I mean, just with friends on Facebook, seeing them do it too. So,
yeah. Brittany, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So this is actually something that I am setting a goal for myself, that I'm going to do at least one of these a week. And so this week, what I'm going to go live about, I'm going to title it something about, like, why do I post so many selfies? Because I think that's something that people would, like, watch, because, like, you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of times, I know my brothers make fun of me all the time for how many selfies I post. And of course there is, like, a certain level of vanity that has to come along with that. But mainly it's like a business, right? But in my video, I'm going to explain that I post selfies because I'm inviting people on a journey with me. I've done something that's changed my life. I'm inviting them so that they can see parts of my life, what this journey looks like, and that they know that they can join me. I'm posting selfies so that they know that I show up every day, and that's what the type of coach I would be if they join my journey with me. I show up and post selfies every day because I want them to know I'm actually doing it. You know, that I'm like a woman of my word. And so I think like posting about like your videos like that, another idea that I saw that I really liked the idea is in the TKO social media page where she started holding up all of her DVDs that she purchased like throughout time of being a Beachbody coach and started adding it up, like how much she had spent on each of those DVDs. And then she had everyone start guessing how much she had spent. And she had shared that over the course of time, she had spent like $700 something on these DVDs. So how incredible is it that now with the all access pass for like a fraction of that, you have access to everything. So it drew people in because it was like, I don't know, you could title it something like how much money I've wasted on Beachbody. And people are going to wait, what? And they're going to click on it and you're going to share all that and you're going to say, because now you have access to everything, all the programs, not just 7, you know, that I've purchased, all the programs, all the new ones. So I think those are 2 ideas if you're looking for ideas of what you can post. But I think really at the heart of why live video is so important, even though I get so nervous before I go live. My heart starts beating. I feel like I start sweating a little bit. I get really nervous. So you're not alone. That's a very normal thing. However, I think one of my biggest concerns and one of the biggest suggestions I hear about being a Beachbody coach is people are worried about being salesy. When you are talking, when people are watching your face talk about this opportunity, when people are hearing your voice talk about this opportunity, it's going to be impossible for them to read your post in a certain tone, right? Because they can read your posts and see your selfies and just feel a certain way about you. But if they hear you, if they see you, they're going to understand you, what this opportunity is, what your groups are about, why you love them, where you've come from, why you're passionate about it, so much more, because you connect in a different way when you hear someone, when you watch them, as opposed to just looking at their videos, their pictures. So I think those are 2 ideas of things you can post about, and then what I really feel like why it's so important for us.
Yeah. I think it's good, like kind of what you were saying, Brittany, to have live videos that not only talk about the business, but just talk about your life. And like think about things that people would like want to know about you. Like Heather, I'm going to use you as an example. I'm sure everybody in the world wonders how in the world you get in a workout every day with homeschooling and having 5 kids, you know? So like going live and showing people like just a quick 5 minutes of like, say, this is how I work out at home with 5 kids, and like do a live video of how you get your kids set up and you go into a room by yourself and start your workout. You know what I mean? Or something that would like intrigue people, you know, like that are like, how does she do it? You know, because the fact that you do it with 5 kids makes a lot of people go, well, if she has 5 kids, I have 2 and I can do it, or I have 3 or I have 4, you know what I mean? So people are really curious, especially like if I were to think, I could go through with each person on here and go, I know that like for me, I would love to see something. I'd be like, oh, let me watch Heather's video. How does she do this? Like, you know, or like what you did, Heather, you did this the other day. You did it great. Like with, you know, when Heather's husband came and surprised their 5 kids on Valentine's Day, and she went live on that. And I saw like people were like following that. That was so exciting. I sat there for like literally, I mean, that kind of stuff like intrigues people. I sat there for 5 minutes before you actually showed up watching your kids swim because I wanted to see the surprise, right? So I think you probably have a better handle on it than you think, you know what I mean? In the sense of you're headed in the right direction, you know? So think about like, you know, I'm trying to think, you know, maybe you have a puppy, Kimberly, or whoever, you know, like you have a dog and you go live and show something that you taught your dog. You know, there's people out there that love that stuff. They love watching like things that you teach your kids or your pets, or how you teach and coach other kids or students, or like I know we have some teachers on the team, you know, talking about like how you teach dance, or like doing the beginning of a dance class and, you know, talking about like, this is my second workout for the day, or whatever it may be, you know, something that would intrigue people with it, and with a title that really would catch their attention is really important too. So so yeah, so does that help a little bit?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. My main struggle that I've been working on is not saying or on my live videos. Yeah, I know how that goes. Oh my gosh. I have my own things that I'm trying to work on, but I'm not going to tell y'all what they are, because then you'll notice them every time that I do them. So Like ending a sentence with so. I just did it. And I just told you. Anything else before we kind of wrap up? Awesome. Well, I hope this was helpful. Brittany, this was fun. I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah, me too. Thanks you guys for showing up. It was fun to see you guys and meet you guys. Thanks for coming.
Yay. Awesome. Kimberly, I just saw your comment. You said 21 times in 5 minutes. We all have our things. Yay. Awesome, you guys. Well, thanks again for joining us. And feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any questions. And thanks for hopping on.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.